Something that was really awesome about going to Babes Ride Out this year is the sheer amount of women that I met who were new to riding or were still in the process of learning to ride and getting their endorsement. It might sound a little bit weird, but it was really cool to meet some of the amazing women who are joining the moto community right now. I ended up having a really great conversation with a new woman rider, and I figured that I would share some of the stuff that we talked about with all of you. Hello beautiful people, my name is Amanda Zitto, and if you are new here, I make motorcycle travel content. I have a lot of bikes, not just ADV bikes, I also have a cruiser and a street bike and a moped. I make a lot of entertaining content like travel vlogs and that kind of stuff where I take you along on my trips, but I also try to make useful content for you so that you can get a tip or something new that you didn't think about to take on your next trip. Yeah, I think that's the gist. Now I know a lot of you who watch this have been riding for a really long time, so hopefully if this doesn't apply to you, you can share it with somebody that you know that is just getting started riding. Now a lot of this stuff I thought of with women in mind, but for the most part, they're generic things that I would say to any new rider. The first thing that I say to anybody who asks me how to get into motorcycling or even how I got into motorcycling is know your shit. Take a class. There are a few states in the US that require you to take an MSF course or a basic rider course in order to get your endorsement, period. But there are also states in the US that don't require you to take the course. So even if you live in a state that doesn't require you to take it, I still highly encourage you to take the course. It does make a huge difference in just starting out riding. Also, depending on what kind of insurance you have, if you can show proof that you passed that course, you can get a discount on your insurance. Either way, I still believe 100% that it is worth the money to take the course. You will learn so much from teachers who are literally educated to teach you hands-on how to ride a motorcycle. Especially if you're going into this like with any kind of fear about the motorcycle itself, which is totally natural. You'll come out of it a lot more confident than you did going in. I know that I did. I was terrified of the bike before I took the rider course. Like I knew that I wanted to ride and I knew that I wanted to do these big trips, but getting on the bike was still really scary to me. Don't get me wrong, you still have to do a lot of practicing after you pass the basic rider course, but getting on that bike in a controlled environment with people who are actively there to give you feedback on what you're doing wrong really eased a lot of my anxiety, so I can only imagine it's going to help you. I'm also going to tack on that just try to learn the uber basics of how your motorcycle works. Buy the proper manual for your bike, but also watch some videos about how a basic engine works if you don't already know that. Any knowledge you can gain about your bike and how it works is only going to help you be a better rider. Find gear that fits and be patient. Finding gear that fits you and your needs is a process. There are a lot more cottage companies now than there used to be that are trying to make better gear for women. But just know that this is going to be a journey. And don't be afraid to try on men's gear either. Don't compromise on fit or the features that you want in a jacket just because the women's version doesn't have it. Almost all of the gear that I wear on the bike is men's gear because either the women's version didn't have the pockets and the vents that I needed, or the better version of the women's gear that had those things were way out of my price range. Also, when you are trying on new gear, remember to sit down and stick your arms out. You're not going to be standing in this gear, you're going to be riding in it. Even if you're getting ADV gear, it's still really important for you to be able to sit comfortably in that gear. Even if you are going to spend a lot of time on the pegs in the backcountry, we still spend a lot of our time on our butt. So the gear that you get better be comfortable in that position. Possibly one of the most important tips that I can give you is don't listen to the naysayers, especially those who say that traveling alone is too dangerous. Traveling solo as a girl is awesome. I have a whole video about it. I have met so many incredible people who have opened their homes to me, fed me, helped me fix my bike on the side of the road, followed me out of the woods when I was hurt to make sure that I was safe, and also given me gas out of their lawnmower when I ran out. That's not to say that bad stuff doesn't happen. It definitely happens. You need to be aware of your surroundings and listen to your instincts, but don't let other people's fear-mongering keep you from doing what you want to do. You're going to get a lot of crap from people. People are going to ask you if that's really your bike or isn't that a little bit big for you. Just don't give them the time of day. And I mean, you're gonna hear it a lot. It's better to learn that it's not personal sooner rather than later. And just know there are way more awesome people that you're gonna meet out on the road. Okay, it's like properly raining, we need to move. My next tip for you is to stretch your comfort zone one little bit at a time. Break your goals down into bite-sized pieces. Get comfortable parking your bike. Know that you can get off the bike to park your bike if you need to, if it's like too tall for you to touch the ground, especially if you got an adventure bike and it's a little bit tall. You know, next up, go over 45 miles per hour and then work your way up to getting on the freeway. Go for your first 100-mile ride, and then once you've done that, you know, work yourself up to riding to another state. Make your own goals and always practice. I've been riding for like 6 years now and I still have goals. Don't get complacent in your abilities. The other thing that I will say, and I feel like I've said this quite a few times recently, is that if you are going on a long motorcycle trip, do not rely on bungee cords to hold all your stuff onto your bike. I recommend you use something like rock straps, or a cheaper option that you can get at like any sports warehouse or outdoor gear store is webbing with buckles. They are so much more secure than using bungee straps because you're not relying on a hook to hold things to the bike that can pop off and pop out an eye. Also, try to keep everything as low as possible on the bike. A cheap pair of saddlebags with trash bags in them is going to be infinitely better than filling up a backpack and sitting it vertical on the back of your bike. If you can't make everything fit in a saddlebag, that is totally okay, but try to make everything fit in one dry bag instead of having everything loosely strapped to the back of your bike. Weird side tangent, the first time that I went to Dreamroll, there were girls that had like sleeping bags and pillows like strapped loosely with bungee cords to the back of their bike, and all that I could think about is like how gross their pillow must be because it's gonna be covered in road dirt. It's just gross. If you like this video, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you like my content and would like to support this channel for as little as $1 a month, you can get early access to videos like these on my Patreon, link down in the description. If that is not up your alley, that is totally okay. You can get stickers, t-shirts, prints, all the good things with my motorcycle art on them over on my Redbubble shop. Links for that are also down in the description. And in the meantime, guys, I will see you later. Most of it ADV directed, but a lot of it can apply to whether or not you just stick to pavement or if you stick to dirt. Dirt? Dirt. Dirt. It's starting to pedal on me already. It's a loud truck. It's a loud truck. I mean, you ride out to the middle of the woods to make sure that you could get some like decent, clean audio for once. And there's still a giant truck. Oh, and terrible brakes. If I can find it, I will put a picture on the screen of one of my first big long trips on my Honda Shadow, where the bags on the back of my bike were literally stacked higher than my head. Oh, that's where the PCT cross. Hey, I gave a PCT hiker water right there once when we were scouting for a Carl's Mystery Ride at some point. And it's starting to rain. It's raining now. Yeah, I know that I have squirrel cheeks. Do I care right now? No, because it's wet and I don't want to take my helmet off.